Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Time to see if Trunda is actually dead after the Hydra changes and the Trunda nerf. I am currently on the test server, guys, so we have all of the changes available. Time to see what Trunda can still do in the Hydra clan boss. Now, I'm quickly going to bring the build back on her. Seems like I'm missing the gear. There we go. Back on duty. So this is the build that I have on her. A Zeal set, and we have a 6-piece Merciless. She should be putting in some serious work in the Hydra clan boss, even after the changes. At least that's what Plarium is saying. Now, I only have, unfortunately, a 4-star blessing. This one was just to test her in Arena, but I have a different video coming on that later on. I'm quickly going to actually bring back Haven Cast on her as the blessing. So let's dive straight into action, guys. Let's see what we can do with Trunda. So my team was for hard difficulty. This is the team right here. They should all still have the gear and all that. This was a manual team. Let's see, can we still one-shot heads with her, as I used to do before. So these heads, they used to instantly die with Trunda in action. So let's try to put some hacks. Beautiful, we managed to land one on the head of Mischief. Trunda, let's see what can you still do after the nerf. I was gonna say buff, but it's a nerf. Okay, so as you may notice, the damage is just not enough to one-shot the heads. They're not even getting 50% of their HP dropped with one hit. So that is already a massive hit for Trunda. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be useless. As I mentioned before, I really think that Trunda is just not going to work in the old format with double reset, and that's exactly what we're kind of like doing here. The main reason is because you will really need a champion to put block buffs, a champion to provoke, because the heads will spawn with that shield that takes 0 damage, so you're not going to be able to one-shot them anymore. So now we took them down. We still dealt 2+ million damage. 2 heads are instantly spawning. One has the life barrier, or the serpent buff, sorry. One doesn't. So that's kind of like the normal now. So let's reset again. And this team is actually amazing. In a way, it's better than the double Yumeko because Trunda was only using the A2, nothing else. So right now we have 2 force heads. Hopefully we're not going to weak hit. 2 million damage. We still managed to one-shot the other head, of course, with debuffs. So 25 million at turn 2. It doesn't look as bad. Doesn't look as bad, which means that we do have the potential to do something. We do have the potential to do something here. So let's see. Okay. So we took that down. Now we have 3 heads decapitated. Another one spawns with a serpent buff, one without the serpent buff. I'm curious how far we're going to be able to go with Trunda and the old format. So as you guys may notice, I've always had a different champion have the highest crit damage in the team, so Trunda will not be the first champion to get devoured. So I feel like we do have the potential to still play around with the old format, but when this champion is getting devoured, we have to basically gamble that Trunda won't be the next one in line to get devoured, because if Trunda is the next one in line, it will become much harder for us to basically free the champion, right? Especially the longer you go in the fight. So right now we have 2 heads that will take 0 damage, and we have a force head, which most likely we're not going to kill. Okay, we managed to kill it. 1.9 million damage, which seems to be enough to kill one head on this difficulty. Another thing that Plarium kind of like already specified is that when a Hydra head has the HP bar and you're exceeding the damage, all of that damage will count. So if your Trunda by any chance will do 20 million damage, you still don't have to worry about it. So this is where the problems come in play, you see? Buff. So we're only going to be able to deal damage on one of them. And that was a weak hit, which is fine. Hopefully that head won't spawn in the meantime. So let's keep our buffs up and running. Let's do that. Let's do that again. Okay, one took a turn. But still, only one took a turn so far. So we still have 2 with a buff. We haven't weak hit. That was 2 million damage. We still have a bit of HP left on that decapitated head, and we killed another one. So we're still going slowly with Trunda in here, guys, but not as crazy as before, right? Which kind of like shows me that she's not dead. She's definitely not dead, and I'm 100% sure that we're going to find some pretty busted teams with Trunda that will enable us to pretty much deal crazy damage once again. Not at the scale that we were doing it before, but look at that. One decapitated, one survived, which is fine. That's why I really feel like we're gonna need at least a provoke or something in here later on. At the moment, it's not as important, right? I do want to see how bad it will get later into the run. So I'm gonna go in with this as much as I can till the champions are failing, basically. So I'm actually going to target a head that has almost no HP. So check this out. We have 60 million damage. 2.3 million damage. All of the damage went up. 72 million damage. We killed the other head too. We have a new one that spawned. The other one will instantly spawn as well, but without a life barrier, which is actually good because we're going to have to target that head now. The Head of Mischief will hopefully take a turn in the meantime and hopefully won't steal any of my buffs. Beautiful, we got resisted. So Trunda got her turn meter decreased. Let's apply some pressure. So we're actually... we cannot target the Head of Mischief, unfortunately, because it's no hacks on there. So I'm going to have to reset. Let's do this. Not enough damage to kill them, which is fine, it just basically gives us more power to deal with the other head when it spawns. So let's put a shield, a protected shield, so we're getting some extra damage from that one as well. You see, this is my concern right now. Are we going to have enough firepower? Hopefully we're not going to weak hit because I really want to see if we have enough firepower to kill through that with what we have going on. Damn weak hit. Okay, the Head of Mischief was pretty weak, so we managed to kill that one. I was a bit worried about the Toxic Cloud, you know, what's going to happen when the Toxic Cloud is on. Are we going to have enough damage with Trunda or not really? So, not enough to kill them all, but anyway, we weak hit, so it's pretty hard to say it at the moment, but I'm sure we're gonna see better stuff in the run. So, don't weak hit here, please. I want to see if we can kill the head. We managed to do it, even like this. Okay, so that means that we don't really need block buffs. But I feel like we might need a provoke just to avoid the clans. So in that case, we can run a provoke set on a champion. We can run provoke sets, for example, on both of the White Riot Nias. And we can gamble with that as well. So this is pretty interesting. Turn 16, 97 million damage. By now, of course, I was already at hundreds of millions with this team before the changes. But this clearly shows that Trunda is actually still good. So Plarium did not actually lied about it. You know, she's still in a good spot. 2.2 million damage, decent. We haven't killed nobody else, of course, but this Serpent buff is so annoying. Look at that, 0 damage. It's like so annoying, considering that I'm so used to at least deal some damage versus them, you know? Sometimes, yes, you are one-shotting them with Trunda, which was definitely not the right thing, but like this is just crazy, seeing them taking 0 damage. So I'm not going to target a Force Head here, I'm going to go for the magic one. Not enough damage to kill it. Okay, so this is where I think we're going to need that provoke. Because we're going to land the debuffs, and this head is going to cleanse. Now, it might not be a necessity if we have decapitated heads, you know? So let's see how this will play out a bit. So reset. We're once again going to target the magic head, and hopefully we're going to kill the rest. Not enough damage to kill the rest. We got a weak hit as well. So let's apply the pressure. The cleanse is going to come in. Okay. Come on, cleanse. Or are we going to take a turn before so we can kill the other ones? Who knows? My team is stunned pretty well. Clearly not well enough. Okay, so this is one of the main issues that I think we're going to have to deal with. But there is a way around it. If we have enough damage from this decapitated head to kill this head, for example, that has no defense down and weaken. Let's see. We do! So this might not be a problem either. Which means that the old traditional Trunda team will definitely still be a thing. 100%. Now, to what extent, what sort of results we are going to see, I'm not 100% sure, right? My team was doing around 16 billion on pretty much every single rotation. 15 to 16 billion on hard difficulty. So I'm going to run this full key, guys. I'm going to run the entire key and see what exactly we are going to get from here. And something bad actually happened. My Duchess got devoured. That was the third champion to be devoured. So we managed to dodge Trunda from being on there. But at the same time, we had a toxic cloud on all of the Hydra heads. And the Head of Suffering just proc the reflect damage. I tried to free my Duchess. Trunda died. So I'm really, really concerned that we won't be able to bring our team back on track from here. But let's actually find out and see if we're gonna be able to do it. You know, I feel like it's definitely going to be a pretty damn hard one. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to pull it off. It just looks worse and worse and worse, right? Okay, should we try to... I still need to go with the A1 to put some damage on. And that White Draenei is about to go down as well. No hacks on it. I feel like the damage is definitely destroyed for a Trunda team. I'm not even sure if people will actually bother to use a Trunda team over a classic one, you know? But we're gonna have to find out. The highest hit that I've seen from Trunda, guys, on decapitated heads was around 9 million with the A2. So she's still putting in big numbers, but I feel like there's so much RNG involved in this team right now that is actually pretty crazy. Okay, so let's get some healing back. And let's try to get that Duchess back. 2 more turns. We lost Lydia as well, which kind of sucks. Not having the hacks on the Head of Mischief is painful, yeah. So that's how my run ended to... just so you guys get an idea. There we go. We finally got the hacks. Maybe. That's it. GG's. So 490 million at around 80 plus turns. I feel like the damage got nerfed on Trunda by at least 10x time. Okay, so a team that was doing 100 plus billion damage before, right now, will most likely do under 10 billion. And that's a nightmare. And I'm talking about the world record team, the most OP team. And you will need a reviver. Like, there's no way in hell you won't need a reviver in a team like this now. So I feel like Duchess will definitely be part of most of these teams. Trunda still brought in 442 million damage. So if I was managing to reach the turn count limit with this team, I was going to do around 1.2 to 1.5 billion damage on hard difficulty. And before I was doing around 15 to 16 billion damage. So as I mentioned, I feel like the Trunda damage got nerfed by at least 10x times, okay? Which is definitely pretty crazy, but I'm not upset about it. I feel like they've definitely brought her down to where she should be, okay? And I feel like if they were not implementing the other changes on the Hydra, Trunda was still going to be number 1. And the damage drop was probably going to be around 5 times rather than 10 times. Maybe not even as much, just for the simple fact that she was still going to be able to one-shot all of the heads, even with the Serpent buff that had a 70% damage reduction. If we were keeping the heads decapitated for long, Trunda was still going to do crazy damage. So I feel like they created this unnecessary thing just to fix one champion. I feel like all of these changes that the Hydra got are all because of Trunda and them not willing to really fix the champion to a point where the damage is not as insane, okay? So that's kind of like my take on it. I feel like was most likely better off to just fix Trunda, nerf her even more, nerf that A2 even more, or fix it because was never really working as intended, you know, and keep the other things as they used to be, right? And keep the shield team viable. Just nerf 50% of the shield team as well. So that's another option, which right now is just not on the table anymore for the Hydra clan boss. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I feel like, yes, a massive drop for Trunda. Are you still planning to use your Trunda team, or you're going to try something else that might allow you to score a bit higher? So it's definitely not enjoyable to run this team on a manual like before. Before was definitely less RNG. This team was able to recover from anything, was barely any RNG in my team, you know, and was a very smooth run every single time. It's definitely not the case anymore with the Trunda team. So if you guys remember the very first month of the Trunda team, and I'm talking about ages ago, before the Hydra Clash and all that, when we were trying Trunda out, and in the Hydra Clash, of course, when we were doing full runs, was so much RNG and was so annoying till we figure out different things. Well, it's kind of like that. Maybe we're going to come up with better solutions, but as it is, I'm not sure if I'm going to run my Trunda team, to be honest. I might just look to build something else. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.